Dynamic duos are nothing new when it comes to media. Mario and Luigi, Batman and Robin, Anakin and Obi-Wan, duos are all over the place, and this concept extends into mobile suits as well. Typically, this means that two suits are often created together with the idea of complementing each other, mainly the fact that the two suits are meant to cover each other's weaknesses and shortcomings. So today, we're going to take a look at a duo that not many people may think of, but honestly, I think it needs more love. Let's take a look at the Mercurius and Vayeate. During the later stages of Operation Meteor, Oz had managed to capture the 5 Gundam scientists who designed the original 5 Gundams. Whilst in captivity, Lady Un gave them a very solid choice. Option A, develop weapons for them, or option B, death.
On the one hand, gold. On the other hand, painful, agonizing failure.
Obviously, the scientists took option A and agreed to work on Oz's new toys, mainly because this also allowed them to keep upgrading the Gundams in secret on the side. And so, using Oz resources, the scientists built 2 suits, with the idea that they would work together on the battlefield. This led to the production of the Oz 13 MSX-1 and Oz 13 MSX-2, more commonly known as the Vayeate and Mercurius. Now, in terms of general data, both suits are pretty much exactly the same. Both stand at 16.3 meters tall, and both weigh approximately 7.3 metric tons empty. Both are piloted by a single pilot in the torso, and both have armor comprised of Gundanium alloy, which technically means that both these units are technically Gundams. Both units feature a sliding cover that protected their main camera, and both units had a self-destruct system as well, which is a concerningly common feature on a lot of suits in Gundam Wing. However, this is where the similarities between the two end. Starting with the more offensively focused of the twins, the Vayeate was equipped with a large beam cannon, which was stated to be even more powerful than the Wing's Buster Rifle. To power this, a large beam generator was mounted onto the backpack and directly connected to the cannon via a power cable. This generator theoretically gave the Vayeate a near infinite ammo supply. However, the generator took time to charge for high output shots, and the Vayeate was also not equipped with any kind of close quarters weapons, which is where the Mercurius comes into play, being the close quarters and defensively capable one of the twins. In one of its hands was a small beam gun, less powerful than a standard beam rifle, but perfect for close quarters. In the other was a crash shield, a small round shield that was equipped with a beam emitter on the face of the shield, which could form a beam saber for melee combat. But that's not the main function of the Mercurius. That would be the 10 planet defensors mounted onto its back. These disc-shaped objects could deploy and form an electromagnetic field in front of whatever suit they were guarding, blocking almost all attacks that came its way. These were even powerful enough to stop a shot from the twin Buster Rifle of the Wing Gundam Zero. These defensors could deploy either around the Mercurius or be sent to guard allied MS. However, they did require charging after every use and could lose power on the field if they took repeated hits from powerful weaponry. Now, while these suits were only meant to be test units, they proved to be extremely effective in the field. It also helped that Oz managed to capture some of the Gundam pilots to actually control these suits, leading to Troa Barton piloting the Vayeate and Hiro Yui piloting the Mercurius. And while this did help Oz on paper, the Gundam pilots were also just biding their time until they could escape and rejoin the fight. Eventually, though, the two suits were deployed to try and stop the Wing Gundam Zero, which was being piloted by Katra Obaba Winner, who, was, kinda going through it at the time. During the ensuing battle, the Vayeate was damaged beyond repair, and whilst the Mercurius did survive, it was set to self-destruct to try and destroy the Wing Gundam Zero. After this point in time, the White Fang, another colony-based resistance movement, somehow got their hands on the data of both units, and were able to rebuild them as mobile dolls. They deployed them during the last stages of the Eve Wars. Both units, however, were unfortunately destroyed by Duo Maxwell in the Gundam Death Scythe Hell. Now, overall, Oz got exactly what they wanted out of these units, as the data from both units ended up combining to create the very first fully fledged mobile doll, the Virgo, which ended up becoming the backbone of Oz and later White Fang forces. However, another Vayeate and Mercurius would appear later on, utilized by Oz Prize during the events of G-Unit. These suits were known as the Vayeate and Mercurius Suivant. Suivant is a French word meaning following, referring to the fact that they follow or succeed the original original suits that they were based on. Their overall design was basically just a double down on what the original suit was good at. The Mercurius Suivant had 20 planet defensors instead of the original 10, doubling its defense. Meanwhile, the Vayeate Suivant had double beam cannons and double beam generators, giving this thing crazy amounts of firepower. These suits were piloted by the Harmonia sisters, with Luna in the Mercurius and Saurus in the Vayeate, both of whom showed exceptional skill as mobile suit pilots, as initially they were trained to potentially be Gundam pilots for Operation Meteor. However, both of them were backstabbed by Valder Farkill, who had recruited the sisters to Ozprize in the first place, as he believed their usefulness had run out.
Good. That's one less loose end.
While this did end up with both Suivant units being destroyed, both sisters would miraculously survive and go on to attend the Barnett Farrell wedding at the end of the series, which is honestly a really wholesome ending that I enjoy. And overall, that's the Mercurius and Vayeate, two units that I just couldn't bring myself to make two separate videos about. It just felt wrong talking about one unit and not the other, especially since both units are the same aside from their armaments and roles. But that's all from me today. Like, comment, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. And until next time, this is Nerd Trooper, signing off.